Alrighty, here we go. My name is Travis Neville. This is the Travis Neville Podcast. I've got cool stickers. You can get them on my website, travisneville.com. I also have a couple of books. That's the first one. That's been out for a couple of years. This is the new one. I'm currently shopping for someone to do a forward for me. Once I get that done, then we can complete the publishing process. But the cover's done and it's all written. Everything's done. Like I said, waiting on a really good forward, and then from there I can, get it out there. Today I want to talk about doing hard things. Doing hard things. I know that sounds kind of general, but I want to break it down into some categories. We can, kind of break that down that way and dig into it. I was inspired by a guy whose podcast, his name is I'm blanking on his name, but his podcast is called the Do Hard Things Podcast. It's pretty cool. He's out, shooting stuff and playing with off-road vehicles, and pretty cool. It's got kind of a military theme. I was really intrigued and interested in what he was doing, and like I said, inspired me, got me thinking about doing hard things and how important that is. So I want to break it down into three different areas. The first one is commitment, second one is discipline, third one is resiliency, and we'll go through those here today, one at a time, and see where that is and what you think about it. So the first one is commitment, and I want to make this clear that these go in order, almost like chronological order. All right. So the first hard thing that you'll do in your life is commitment. That you making a commitment to a thing or a person or a cause or whatever it might be. Doing that, it's hard. All right, it's a difficult thing. And for an example, your relationship. I mean, if you've committed to a partner, you're committing your whole life to that person. You're agreeing to make that person sort of half of your life. You're splitting yourself with them, and that's a big thing. It's a big commitment. I don't think that you guys misunderstand that concept, but I think that it's getting lost on a lot of people how valuable that commitment can be. Why is commitment by itself important? I mean, yeah, it's hard. We can establish that, but I guess I suppose I should back up and say, why is doing hard things a good thing? I think about the Robert Frost poem. It's called The Road Less Traveled. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, he says, and that has made all the difference. And you would assume, you got two trails there. One's easy, everybody's been down it, pretty simple, and the other one is, much more challenging, whether it's because it's uphill or it's just not as well cleared or who knows what. And the idea there, it's just a metaphor. It's just telling you, hey, the hard path is usually the one that's going to be the most rewarding for you, and it isn't because there's a pot of gold at the end of it, because if it were, it would be the path that everybody goes down. It's good because it's difficult. Doing hard things makes you better. You figure out how strong you are, you get tougher, you learn what your limits are, and then you push them. It's the struggle that's the real value here. And I know that I'm pitching something here that people just don't want to hear. The marketing world, everything you see on a screen is going to tell you deserve this and you deserve that, and you should have everything just for being alive, and here, drink this sugar water, and here, eat this processed fatty ass food, and you deserve it, even though you really didn't do anything. That's what everybody's selling you, but in my experience, that's not going to get you anywhere. Taking the rough path, though, that will get you somewhere, and I don't mean all the damn time. I mean, if it's easier to take the back way, the dirt roads home or something, there's less traffic, fucking do it. Don't make yourself sit in traffic all day just because it's harder. I mean, be strategic about it. You know what I mean? Anyway, I should have said that at first. Let me dig more into the commitment thing. So yeah, your relationship, that's definitely a thing that you are going to have to commit yourself to. You're going to commit a lot of time, a lot of energy. This is a person who's going to rely on you for things. Upside is you're going to be able to rely on them for things as well. You make this partnership, and in most cases, you're going to have children. You're going to have these things that you do together. You've got somebody to sleep next to wake up next to, somebody to lean on when things are hard, somebody to help out, somebody that you can help when they're having a tough time. I know for me, that's very rewarding to be able to help somebody out like that. So there's one example of making a commitment, and it can be hard. It's pretty simple. Taking on a career, there's no doubt about that it's a commitment. I mean, most careers that you're going to be interested in are going to require you to, kind of throw down your statement, your agenda, your gauntlet early. Like at 18, you're leaving high school, and even before that, you got to think about, all right, what high school classes should I be taking to set me up to go to the college that I want to go to, that's going to get me the best degree to get me into this one job that I think I want to do for 30 years or more. That's a hell of a commitment. You're committing your entire adult life to a thing outside of yourself. And there's a lot of motivations behind that. Obviously, you need a way to put food on the table. You've got to find a way you got to have a way to make money and pay the bills. Everybody's got to do that somehow. But bigger than that, usually in your career, it's a thing that builds. You're always learning, getting better, screwing up. If your career is going to be anything like the ones I've had, you get fired, you make mistakes, you screw shit up, and then you learn and you move forward. So a career, yeah, that's a hell of a commitment. I mean, you put your whole life into that, and I would argue that you spend more time with the people that are in your career than you spend with a lot of your family and friends. And you think about it, you can spend 40 hours a week with these people that you work with. I mean, you're going to spend that much time with, say, your parents. You're going to see them, every couple of weekends or whatever. How about your good friends? I mean, you're going to see them on like Tuesday night for poker or whatever you do. You're going to spend more time with the people in your career than you do with people that you've deemed to be very important in your life, presumably. And so it's something worth thinking about. It's a big commitment, but it's hard, but the rewards are amazing. I mean, you have to, I guess when it comes to these commitments, none of it makes any sense unless you have an end goal in mind. And there can be other goals that get you there, but ultimately, where do you want to be when you're done working? What do you want to look back on and say, well, that's what I did for my adult life. This is how during my productive years, this is what I got done. This is what I put my time into. You got to think about that. It's a lot to put on somebody who's 18 or 22 just getting out of college, or 26 just getting out of, a PhD program or whatever it is. But you got to start thinking that way. You at least have an idea of what it is, right? I don't know. I want to look back on my life and know that I helped some people, know that I left something behind, know that I made some contributions to the world that are going to be there when I'm gone. I don't know. That's what I want to think about. So, that'll help guide you in deciding what kind of commitment you want to make. Another commitment that I think is, I don't think I know it. It's a lifelong commitment, or at least it has been for me. It's fitness. I talk about it all the time. I mean, I'm not a fitness competitor. I don't have 6-pack abs or any of that, but I work out every day, and I run and I lift and I stretch and I do CrossFit and hit the heavy bag and do all this different stuff to keep my body functional. And the end result that I'm looking for there, why'd I make that commitment? I mean, it's changed over time. I think when I was younger, there was vanity there for sure. I wanted to look good, and you're dating and things like that. I mean, that's important. But in the end, again, looking back at, at 80, where do I want to be? I want to be physically able. I've got an aunt, my dad's sister. She's 80. I think she's 81 actually. And she still jogs around and plays pickleball and does all this stuff, and it's because she never stopped being active. She was always running and keeping her body fit. That's where I want to be. I don't just want to be 81. I want to be 81 and still be able to do shit. So there's one upside. Also, I like being healthy. Knowing that I don't have to worry about certain diseases or, certain freakish viruses that everybody freaks out about. I don't have to worry about that stuff because I'm taking care of my body. I'm healthy, so I can fight stuff off. That's a commitment, and it's hard. I mean, working out every day, most people hate that shit. It's January, and I'm in the fucking gym right now, just like I am all the time. But now I see the January fuck asses, the people the New Year's resolution people, and and I love that you try. This is kind of me talking, and I mentioned this last week, but I love that you try. I love that you're in there. But when 2 weeks go by and you're not doing it anymore, what did you really accomplish there? I mean, it's Don't do it if you can't do it for 99 years. I had a fitness lady tell me that one time. Don't make any changes to your diet or to your workouts, that you can't maintain for 99 years, because if you only do it for a little while and then you stop, it does more damage than never having done it to begin with. And I'd say that's the truth, especially with your body. You're going to create damage. It's never going to really be able to get used to doing these things that you tried to do, and mentally it's not good for you. I mean, now you got to look at yourself for the rest of the year going, well, I tried again and I fucking failed again. Who wants to say that shit? I don't know. I feel bad for the newbies. I would love to be able to help in some way. When I see somebody that's in there and they're brand new and they don't know what they're doing, I'll walk up and, hey man, let me help you with that, or can I give you a hand or whatever. But man, I saw this dude today, and they just do the craziest shit. There's these little short videos going around on social media about this topic, and these people using the machines, they don't know what they're doing, and they're really exaggerated with their hands, and they make a lot of noise, and you're looking at them going, I know you're new here. You just tell by their level of fitness. But I don't know. I mean, I know that sounds judgy as shit, but again, if you can't commit to it, if you can't decide I'm going to do this, and then the next step would be to have some discipline about it, don't start. I'm telling you, you're doing everybody more harm than good. Now, I'm sure my gym owner, she doesn't mind taking the money from somebody who's not going to be there all year. Who knows what these people are doing? They're probably just paying a month at a time. But, I mean, I buy a year at a time because I know I'm going to be there. Anyway, fitness is a commitment. It is fucking hard, and it will make you better. It will. It's straight up will make you better. Another one would be financial stuff. You want to, it's that time of year, like I said, people are making their New Year's resolutions. If you want to commit to doing some financial stuff, that's probably a good thing. I keep reading this. It keeps, I do a lot of research because of what I do, right? I run a podcast, and I'm an author. I write books, and I post on social media and stuff like that. So I need to be up on things. I need to read things that are interesting. I'm reading right now this article called it's like the paradox of declining female happiness, which I thought was an super interesting title. It might suck. I'm only a couple pages in, but it's like a 50-page scholarly article. Super interested in that. But anyway, I keep seeing these little short videos on social media and various sources saying that if you could, would you be willing to live like no one else will for a year, so that for the rest of your life you can live how no one else can? And I thought, fuck, man, that's cool. That to me, that's like a challenge. Like somebody's challenging me. Like, would you be willing to do that? And I'm like, shit. I have to find the right situation. I've got to find the right set of circumstances. But that's a hell of a financial goal. How much fat can I trim off of my financial picture and live like that and see what can I build up? You know what I mean? My thought would be, in a year, I'm sure I could save enough money to, especially if I were living very frugally, super frugally, more than I do now, buy that big piece of land that I want, maybe get started on that pole barn. In a year, I could probably get all that done and really be in a good position to set myself up for that paid-for house that I can live in forever and never worry, out in the middle of nowhere, so I don't have to worry about people and shit like that. I know I sound like a fucking hermit, but hey, I'm an author. That's what authors do. They go off and live in the middle of nowhere so they can find inspiration, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, that's the first one, commitment. The second one, actually, before I get off of commitment here, the things that I'm talking about, your relationship, your career, keeping your body healthy, and a lot of times your finances are going to be tied to somebody else too. These are responsibilities that you're taking on. When you commit, you are accepting a responsibility is what you're doing. Usually there's somebody else involved. And, you hear so many people around just bitching about their rights. This is a basic right. I read this article that said, housing is a basic human right. Healthcare is a basic human right. And all this shit. And I'm like, no, it's fucking not. A right is something that's given to you by the government. The government, so you're saying that the government should give you a house and give you health care just for fucking being alive? I disagree. I think you should work for that shit. That's what I think. I know people don't agree with me on that, but that's the truth. So instead of worrying about your fucking rights, which are things that are given to you, you should worry about your responsibilities, which are the things that you give to others. Because I'll tell you what, one of those gets you up in the morning and the other one doesn't. Like, you don't get up in the morning because of your right to free speech or your Second Amendment rights. You get up in the morning because you have fucking responsibilities. Okay? You have the responsibility to go to work. You have the responsibility to help your partner. You know, that's what drives you. That's what motivates you. That's what's going to make you productive. If you focus on those responsibilities, that's going to get you moving. That's going to give you a sense of purpose. It's going to make your life a lot better. Complaining about your rights, that's childish. Stop that shit. Anyway, I want to throw in there. Second thing, once you've taken on these commitments, which are hard, the next part is to have some discipline, which is even harder. This is the hardest part for most people. You know, people can commit to going to the gym and they'll make it a week or maybe 2, but then their discipline runs out and their short-term motivation disappears, and now they're back to doing shit exactly how they always have. So discipline is where it's hard. Most people can't do that. Most people can't discipline themselves to, you know, get up with an alarm clock as soon as it goes off. Most people can't, you know, because there's a lot of other pieces to it than that. You know what I mean? It isn't just getting up on time. It's going to bed on time. That's usually the situation. I used to date this girl. I lived with her, and she couldn't get the fuck up on time. And she would tell me how she was genetically different than all other people, that she didn't have the ability to get up on time in the morning. And I was just like, did you just get off of a spaceship? Like, how do you fucking not understand that it's hard for everybody? You know what I mean? And what it was this. It was real simple because of scheduling. I mean, I had to get her to make her go to bed when I went to bed. If I made her go to bed when I did, and she got enough sleep, she'd get right up when the alarm clock went off. I mean, better anyway. But when our schedules changed and I started going to bed later, so then she'd just lay there and she'd go say, I'm going to bed. And then she'd just lay there and watch fucking TV in bed and be, you know, only get 5 hours of sleep. She wouldn't get up in the morning. And she never could understand that, oh, you mean I got to go to bed on time? Like, it just never made any sense to me. But that's discipline. It's a whole lot easier to get up on time when you fucking go to bed on time. And you don't drink your fucking ass off at night. She didn't do that, but other people do. I mean, I don't know how. I see these blue collar guys, and you guys know I work in the construction industry, that, man, they drink all day. You know, they work all day, and then they get drunk every night. And then they sleep like 5-6 hours and get up and fucking work all day again. I don't know, man. I mean, I've had to do that, and it sucks. It sucks enough where I never want to do it again. But that's part of the discipline thing. You know, the gym is the same thing. I think I mentioned that. Your career is going to be the same thing too. And the way the discipline works, that discipline works, is this. It isn't that big decision. That's the commitment part, right? Discipline isn't anything huge at all. Discipline is little tiny decisions over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, I feel like I talk about this all the time, but discipline is one of the hardest things there is in the world. But as Jocko says, you know, discipline, you know, it equals freedom. And it is. The more you discipline your life, the more freedom you're going to have. Because you'll have accomplished so many things and gotten so many things done, you'll always have the freedom to say, you know what, I don't think I want to do this just today. You have the freedom to do that because you've been doing it. You've maintained your discipline. Yeah, discipline, it's tough. Most people can't fucking do it. And it, like I said, it's because it's these little tiny decisions. It's going to be with your body. If you want to lose weight, it's got to be these little tiny decisions that you make all day long. I caught myself right in the middle of it today. I was prepping for this show, and I'm thinking, you know what? I think I'd like to have a Coca-Cola. It just sounded good. Like, I'd eaten lunch, and I'm like, I'm going to drink a Coke. And then I started walking to the fridge. I shit you not. They got some of them out in the fridge in the garage. I started walking out there, and I was like, you know what? This is one of those decisions. This is one of those short-term, right now. It's going to make me feel good for a minute, but it's, you know, 140 calories or whatever it is, and it's pure fucking sugar. And in the end, it's not going to help my long-term shit, you know? It's going to hurt me. I'm trying, you know, I decided I'm going to go the whole month of January with no alcohol, no sugar. One night I ended up at a bar with some friends, and I drank Pepsi. And, you know, I figured that was the lesser of two evils. So I did have some sugar, but I started early, so I'm at 13 days with no alcohol, which is fine. I'm sharp as a tack. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that was one of those things, you know. And this, every single time I'm at the gym, like, I do these, like, supplementary workouts. Like, so, like, yesterday, I go in and I do back and shoulders. So I lift my back stuff. I do my shoulder lifts. And then I get on the rower and I row 3 miles, right? Usually takes about 20 minutes. Get a good ass row. And then when I'm done with that, I'm huffing and puffing. I'm like, man, I'm ready to go home. But I always throw in this supplemental thing. And on that day, it's kettlebell swings, right? And I have before gone, fuck it. I'm not doing those fucking kettlebell swings. I got a good workout here. I'm good. But more often than not, most of the time, I'm like, you know what? I'll feel so much better about myself knowing that I finished what I had to do today. And I do the damn kettlebell swings because those fucking things suck. I keep putting heavier weights on there. I try to do 50. I split it up into 3 sets and do a little, 30 or 40 second break in between them. But those kettlebell swings, holy shit, especially after you've already lifted back and shoulders and then rowed, which is the same muscle groups. Anyway, it's those little decisions. You have those little decisions all day long. Oh, this won't matter if I do it this way or if I don't do it. No, it does matter. Those are the things that stack up and make your life better. That's what discipline is. It's really simple, but it's hard. It's an easy concept. It's easy to explain. I should say it is simple, but it's difficult. It's a challenge for most people to discipline themselves, really to do most everything. I mean, until something becomes a habit. I don't know. I would tell you that if you can work out for 6 months straight, it's pretty much a habit at that point. You'll probably maintain it forever. You probably will, depending on how old you are and how dyed-in-the-wool your habits were before that. I mean, shit. Think about brushing your teeth or putting on a seatbelt. For most people, you feel weird when you don't do it. That means it's a habit. So once it gets to habit status, it gets a lot easier, and it requires a lot less discipline to do it. I think that's where the people in the gym kind of miss the boat. If you get it to where it becomes a habit, where you get up before your alarm clock and you don't want to you want to go to the gym. You don't want to go to work right away. You would rather go to the gym. You just don't feel right unless you do. When you get there, it's a lot easier. It really is. It gets a lot easier. So that's the second thing that's fucking hard, discipline. And the third thing, and I might say this is the most difficult, at least it's the most traumatic, I think, to most people, and that's resiliency. That's the third piece of it. So, no matter what you're trying to do, you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have fucking big ones, no matter what you do. And I talk about that a lot. I talk about that in the qualified episode. I can't remember whether that's a couple weeks ago, but about the setbacks and what they can do to you. But I think what all they really are is those are tests of your discipline. Again, for the workouts, say you had a weight loss goal and you've been sticking to your workouts, and 2 weeks in you weigh in and you're heavier than when you started. That basically happens to everyone. If you haven't been lifting, then you start lifting, what's happening is you're building muscle, and muscle's pretty heavy, and you will build it faster than you will burn fat. So yeah, your weight's going to go up at first, and that can be a massive blow and make you want to quit. But it's at those moments that you need to double down on your discipline and say, nope, yeah, I know I've had a setback here, but I'm going to keep grinding. Good reason for that. It's this. If you have failures, I talked about this, when this podcast caused me to lose my coaching job. That's a massive setback, and it made me feel terrible, and it could have easily stopped me from doing this. Probably would have stopped most people from doing this. But my thought at that point was, well, if I don't keep going, I already had the loss. I already had that massive setback. So it's for nothing if I don't accomplish, and I know I've talked about that too, but, divorce would be the same thing. You're working your ass off and doing everything right in your relationship, and you get divorced. It happens to more than half of people who get married. It does, and it sucks, and it is a massive setback. That's for sure. And in that case, the resiliency isn't to maintain your commitment to your relationship, but you still improved usually if you're in a good relationship. Good's the wrong way to say it, but a relationship where you've put in your work and done it right, you can celebrate the fact that you did everything you could do. A lot of times in divorce, and it isn't about blaming anybody. Usually it's just a bad combination. You improved, you got better, you learned how to be in a relationship, you learned how to deal with probably some difficult shit. You got your heart broke, whatever it was. That sucks, but that doesn't mean you throw your hands up in the air and let your life go to shit. Then what's the point? You lose everything you gained in that case. You got to get back on the horse. Job loss is going to be the same thing, man. I've lost jobs before. Um, you know, you shake it off. I mean, I've lost so many at this point. I'm just like, well, whatever. On to the next thing. It's not that big of a deal. But resiliency can be very difficult. Like, what I'm trying to do here. Um, I take a lot of shots. I'm trying to reach out into different social media platforms and seeing if I can kind of spread the word that way. And um, like I I realized that TikTok was a thing that is a thing where I jacked up my followers. Like I got a lot of followers pretty quickly, and it's still a media where it's a platform where I'm gonna put some short videos out there every week when I record one of these. Like I'm still gonna do that, but going out there and commenting with people on TikTok, holy shit, what a fucking shit show. Like you can't. Like people will beat your ass. You know what I mean? They'll be real fucking assholes to you. Like if they disagree with what you say, they're just gonna heap insults on you. Childish fucking bullshit, Like call you names and say you have a small dick and like it's just like it's the most infantile shit ever. Man, like Joe Rogan talks about how he will post and ghost. Like he just puts a post up there and he never looks at it again. And I think I'm at that point. Like, unless it's someplace like on Instagram, I'm pretty in control of my setup there. Like, I have, my followers. I know exactly who they are. If I don't know them personally, I know their reputation. Same thing with the people I follow. So I can very much control what's being fed to me, essentially. Where at TikTok, they just kind of algorithm your ass. Like they throw all kinds of shit at you, and Instagram isn't that way. Like I'm just looking at my followers for the most part. I think they throw extra shit at you sometimes, but so there I can be more prescriptive. I can comment on something that where we are kind of on the same team, and I'm gonna give you some hey that's awesome. I love that you posted that. Hey, did you think about this? And then I get a conversation going, and and that's helpful. Like I can build my brand at the same time that I'm stretching myself and challenging myself and creating conversations and debates with people. But on TikTok, oh my God, it's like being in there with a bunch of teenage girls. That's exactly what it is. So getting out of there, I think it's going to be wise. Like I said, I'll still make the post, but my point is that those are setbacks, right? I tried that media or that platform, and it just didn't do anything. Like it didn't help me at all. I'm not pushing people to the website. I'm not pushing people to buy books. It's not worth my time. So that's one of those mistakes that you make along the way, and you got to go, well, you know what? I put the time in there with my attitude in the right place and with the my goals in the right place, and it just didn't work. And fuck it, that's fine. Yeah, so there's that. Also, like I said, I've been reaching out to schools, and I get this all the time, and I knew it would be this way. My presentation, you guys have seen the cover of the book. I list off rather than put the graphic up, I'll just show you this. I list off all the traits of what it is to be an ideal man. And, of course, every time I send this out to somebody from a school district, not every time, but fairly often, I get people going, oh, it says violent in there, and we can't condone that. And I'm like, it's a fucking book cover. You remember the fucking don't judge a book by its cover thing? That's literally what you're doing. Like you're literally judging my book by its cover, which isn't unreasonable. I do have a chapter in there about violence, but of course they think that I'm advocating everybody should be violent all the time. And what the fuck is wrong with you? God damn it, you pussy. Get your shit together. You know what I mean? Like when I get those emails back, well, I was interested until I saw that. Like, well, good. Your staff probably needs it more than anyone else's because they got somebody like you leading it. That's what I think inside. I don't say that to them. I always try to dial them back and be like, you know what? I think you should look into it a little bit more. What I'm encouraging is that we accept that this is a natural genetic part of men, and so we've got to teach them how to use it the right way and teach them how to control it so that it doesn't pop out when it shouldn't. I mean, we've seen over and over again violence in schools has been a problem. So we've got to handle it differently. We got to hit the shit head on. And, nobody wants to do it. They just want to sit back and be afraid, which I find to be fucking cowardly. It drives me nuts. But every time I get one of those, I'm like, I can't help it. It goes through my head. I'm like, am I doing the wrong thing here? Am I just fucking ramming my head into a wall? Am I just pissing people off? Like, those things go through my head. And then I'm like, no, you know what? I heard this quote, true art divides, I think is what it was. And yeah, if you're saying something that everybody agrees with, then it doesn't need to be fucking said. If people are disagreeing with it, that means it probably has some truth to it. You know, that's the way it goes. And so I've got to accept that there's going to be people pushing back on me. I've got to be resilient when that shit happens so that I can honor my commitments and maintain my discipline. It's fucking hard. You know what I mean? It's a hard thing, but it's worthwhile. That's why you do it. That's fucking hard thing. So anyway, my name is Travis Neville. This is the Travis Neville Podcast. I'm excited as fuck to be able to do these shows every week. To me, it's fun. Something to look forward to. It's a reason to research. It's a reason to get up in the morning. It's a responsibility that I have. And I'm excited about it. Can't wait for the new book to come out. I'll keep you guys posted on that, of course. I'm going to wait another week and see if I can get any bites on any of these people that I asked to do a forward for me. Yeah, we'll go from there. But anyway, I'm Travis Neville, and I hope today's show in some way helped you to get your shit together. Have a great week.